Close enough, close enough. Can you hear me back? All right, just wave, all right. All right. You do know when you leave, I'll see you. I'm gonna make a scene, you know that. All right, you're prepared. Look at you're like, we don't care, man. Go ahead. I can flip you the bird from back here, that's right. I bet I can make it to the door for you and get off that stage. You're right, yeah. Okay, what we all come here for? Oh yeah, I'm supposed to babble aimlessly about the old days of Bally. Okay, I can do that. Ask my wife. She goes, they gave you only an hour? Oh my God. Jeez. All right, well, let's start kind of at the beginning. When I was in college, I used to go to class, wait for roll call, and then get the hell out of there, and scoot over to the student union and go play pinball. And that's really where my education was. I lived at the student union playing pinball. And I had made up my mind, man, I want to be a pinball artist so bad, so bad. I could just taste it. I wanted to be so bad. So when I got out of school, I got a job at a sign company on the southwest side of Chicago. And it was a good gig. And in fact, actually, this is like 1980. So this is pre-vinyl lettering. All right? So they were still hand lettering. The old guys in the back were still hand lettering. And, oh, thank you so much. Awesome. Wow, look how slick this is. Wow. I asked for a water. This is like this high designer. All those years in the ad agencies didn't paid off, huh? Okay. So anyway, yeah, I got out of school and we're going to a sign company, and the guys in the back were still doing like hand lettering. And so after hours, they would have the apprentices come in, and it was a union shop, so these guys would teach them how to do hand lettering. Well, I just hang out, learned how to do that. That was amazing. And then about 5 minutes later, they invented vinyl lettering. So nobody needed to do that anymore. And if you ever go to like car shows or anything, you see the guys doing pinstriping. Have you seen a guy under 60 years old doing that ever? No. You'll never see anybody under 60 years old doing it, because nobody under 60 years old knows how to do any of that stuff anymore. So anyway, I didn't at the time really appreciate what a great asset that was to have, but it was. Oh my God, what I knew about lettering. And what I was kind of amazed is that nobody else knew anything about lettering. It was almost like putting the titles and the headlines on the headers and on the pinball machines. That seemed to be like the most agonizing part for some of them. I couldn't wait. To me, there was like, there's a zillion typefaces, which to use, I don't know. But actually, just somebody recently put on, I think it was LinkedIn, and they said, and I had two panels. One was like, the 25,000 typefaces you have on your computer. And over here, the 8 typefaces you use. And that's about right. That's every designer. I got the 8, man, and they're all working for me, so yeah. Well, it's funny. So, here, that's kind of reflective of the sign company too. In their mind, there were only 3 typefaces. There was Helvetica. There was Times Roman. And then whatever script. So I just put brush script, that'd work out just fine. Those are the 3 you can use. If you varied from that, you'd have somebody coming downstairs going, what's the deal with the fancy typeface on? The guys in the back, they can paint that, You know what they're doing, I've seen them, come on. I'm telling you. So it was so conservative, and it was so, by the book. And the thing is too, obviously no computers, so everything's hand done. So every lettering job I did, they're all lettering jobs, was hand done. So I was like the master letterer after 2 years of that. So one day the phone rings, and it's a buddy of mine, and he goes, dude, I just found your dream job in the paper. The newspaper was this sheet of things that came out every day. I know, it's crazy. It's like, you know, how many trees died for that? A lot. A lot of trees died for that. So that I could get that job. Thank you, trees. So, anyway, after the trees died, then you know, he found this ad in the paper, and he called me up and he said, this is your dream job, man. It's Bally Midway. Bally Midway, man. This is your big door. This is your big moment. This is pinball god, dude. This is you. Pinball wizard. You're on your way. So I'm like, whoa, you know. So I write down the information, and about an hour later, the phone rings again, and it's another buddy who didn't know the other guy, and I had like the most identical conversation, and I'm just like, okay, universe, I get it, I'm going for this job. And, you know, the phone rings again, I'm gonna be freaked out, okay? So called them up, and I made an appointment, and I had about a week and a half before the actual appointment. So now I'm dedicated. I got my little one bedroom apartment and about a dozen paintings that are in various states of undoneness. You know? So now I'm just dedicated to, you know, turning my portfolio into the most kick-ass piece of work that, you know, anybody ever seen. So every night, and I'd rush home and I'd stay up till 2 in the morning working on all these pieces. You know, excuse me, and. So I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna do it. You know, you're patting yourself on the back. Oh, you're gonna kill him. Boy, that's just got it. Every night. So it became a kind of an experiment in sleep deprivation for me. But I was dedicated. I wanted that job so bad. Okay, so now game day. Throw the portfolio together, and I go there, and I met with Rich Scafidi, who inevitably became my immediate boss. So I came in, I'm all beaming, and I dressed real nice and everything, and he was put the portfolio down here. He's got a whole bunch of stack of other portfolios. I'm like, whoa. So he opens it up, and he's doing this. Going through a little quick there, aren't you? And then he does this. Close it. Okay, thanks. That's it. That's it. You know, I'm picturing all those nights in sleep deprivation. The sleep deprivation. You know what I did to get this out? Come on, man. Just like a little low, would you please? So 2 days go by, and I'm just walking around this funk. And I get a call, and want to schedule your second appointment, your second showing. Oh? Well, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Turns out that Rich was just going through the portfolios to see who we wanted to see and who the hell we didn't want to see. And that's all he needed to know. That's why he was just doing, okay, I like this guy, like this guy. Well, all seems way more of the same. Great, perfect, come on back. You could have said that. 2 days of contemplating where to jump. and I don't mean to make light of that, okay? Suicide is a very serious thing, so I'm sorry, I should have made that reference. Just send some dirty letters, a nasty letter to the board of directors of the show. Let's put them with the rest of them. So I go, and the second interview had a couple of people. George Gomez was in it, and I think there were like 3 or 4 people in the room. And so I went through, and they're all very approving. Okay, we'll let you know. Okay, all right. So about a week went by, and I'm like, I got all pumped up after that second interview, and I'm thinking, okay, a week goes by, the first 2 days, you're like, that's okay. And then you got plenty of people, they'll be calling you, don't worry about it. By day 5, going, where was I going to jump again? So I got a call, come back, and it seemed like every time I went for the interview, there were more people in the room. So at the third interview is when I actually got the job, but there were like maybe 10 people in the room. And I remember Paul Ferris was at the end of the table, and to me it didn't seem like he was even paying attention. Like he was kind of like looking over and he was, writing stuff and, not really, he kind of glance over a little bit. And I didn't know who anybody was in the room, so, but, he looked important. He had a suit jacket on, and, I figured he's somebody. And he kind of had an artsy look to him, so, little did I know that he would be my boss, and that there was Paul Ferris, our God. Who, by the way, I want to talk about Paul Ferris for just a second here, because what a great guy. I cannot say enough about that man. He's just a fabulous man. He's a fabulous talent. Best boss ever. Just the best boss ever. Whenever I had to be a boss, I would model my bossness after Paul. I really did. He was just a shining example of just a wonderful human being. He really was, and is. Before he got involved, it was like in 77, I think, 77 or 78 is when he went to Bally. But before that, he was a high school art teacher and wrestling coach. All right, and he looked at it. He was as wide as he was tall, and it was all muscle. He was just, and worked out all the time. Real boy. He was just dedicated, just a dedicated guy. And he had this great lifestyle, and he was just an inspiration to be around. You always felt like after you talked to him, let's go do something. Let's make something. He was just at that grade. He just had this great aura about him, and it just fed into it, and you couldn't help but feel this wonderful like this talent was like kind of flowing out of him. And the whole art department was like that. And I think that it really was about his personality. I think his personality kind of was key to the whole art department. Everybody took their cue from him. I couldn't wait to get to work in the morning. I was so happy to be there. I loved that job. And in the 2 years that I was there, I probably learned more than I did in the 20 before that. It was just an amazing time. Plus, you had 7 incredible, talented illustrators all working next to each other and sharing ideas and bouncing off of each other. And everything became greater than the sum of its parts. It really was an amazing place to work, and God, I can't say enough about that. So anyway, getting back to Paul. So he became, left the high school and became an art god. And after he was done being an art god, he went back to teaching high school art, and wrestling coach. And he was at Lincoln Way Central, and my nieces and nephews had him as their art teacher. Oh, it was a great coincidence, what a wacky coincidence that turned into. One time, so I'm going to skip ahead a little bit to actually the end of my little tenure at Bally, which was in actually March 23rd, 1984, my mom's birthday. I got laid off on my mom's birthday. Paul came to my desk, I think it was like in December of '83. Now you gotta remember the big crash, the big video game crash in '83 was happening around October, November, somewhere in there. So at Bally, while all this was going on, the art department was situated, like there was these double doors that went out to a hallway. And on the other side of that hallway was another set of double doors, and you were on this factory floor. Bam! Just like that. We were that close. So it was great, because we'd go out to the factory to see how things were rolling, and it was just a great experience. So we got to know everybody on the line, you got to talk to them, because you saw them all the time. And then the cuts started happening. And we'd go out to the factory, and there'd be like a whole section of the factory that's just dark. Like you shut the lights off over there. There's nobody there. And they finally had 50 go today. So every Friday was Black Friday. And we started making jokes about it. Black Friday. So we started seeing the factory going, and then we realized, the sword of Damocles was hanging over our heads too, and how long do we have And I knew I was a low man on the totem pole because, everybody there has 7 years experience and I had all 7 minutes, so I knew I was going first. So now, December, Paul shows up on my desk with a bunch of blueprints and he says, hey, I got a game for you. And I'm like, thank you, Jesus. For me, that was a sign. Well, I'm looking to, be booted out the door. And here he is giving me a game. This is a good sign. This means maybe I got a shot here. Maybe I can hang. Maybe this is it. So I busted my butt on that, and it was a game called Midnight Marauders. Anybody ever heard of it? It's okay. You did. You've heard of it. Have you ever seen one? No. Oh no, of course not, because they're unicorns, man. They like made 300 of them, and it was just glitch ridden. It was horrible. What they wanted to do is they at that point they were just shooting in the dark. Anything, they're like, hey, we had a great idea. Let's bring back the old shooting gallery, and that's what that was. It was an electronic shooting gallery. So okay, what can we shoot at? What's a good thing to shoot at? Well, animals are out. That's hokey anyway. So I finally came up with space robots. Everybody you just blow as many of those up, who cares, right? Exactly. So that was pretty cool. Midnight Marauders. And I poured myself into the game. I worked extra hours. I busted my butt to come up with the coolest stuff. I remember I designed about 8 or 9 different characters. Take your choice of what kind of space alien you want. That guy looks too much like Cylons, or this guy. And it finally came down to the guy. This is the guy. And I remember there was a surface in the game that was a lunar surface. Now, I actually have a degree in ceramic design and engineering, not that anybody gives a damn, but it came in pretty handy, because I thought, I will make that, I will show them, I'm their one-stop shop, man. I'm the guy, 3D stuff, no problem, 2D stuff, no problem. I got you, Production, I can do that, I just want to show them what a valuable asset I was, and you better keep me on board. So I busted my butt. So, get done with the artwork, and there it is, and there's your door. What? Literally, right out the door. I never saw the game in production, until about a couple months ago. It was the first time I've actually seen Midnight Marauder production. Doc Mack, who owns Galloping Ghost Arcade up in Brookfield, Illinois, the largest arcade around, 750 plus games on the floor. Pretty much everything I'd ever done, except for Midnight Marauders. And so one day we had done a podcast, and I brought a bunch of concept art for Midnight Marauders. He goes, oh, you did that game? Do you know this game? He goes, yeah, I was trying to buy one, but they're like, a unicorn? Yeah, like a unicorn, yeah, exactly. So at that point, he actually made it like his mission to find out Midnight Marauders, and sure enough he did. That was awesome. So I had never played it. He invited me down. We did this whole big podcast thing around it, And so I stepped up to it and just kicked its ass. I couldn't believe how well I was doing. I was like, it's like over 1 million score. They were like, and you've never played this. And you've never seen it before. And by the way, just I'm notoriously, I suck. Notoriously sucking at the game. Especially any game that I actually had artwork on, oh my God, do I suck at those. Okay, you'll never see me playing Mortal Kombat. There's a reason. I gotta be, okay, true confessions. So many times I've been asked, hey, it would be great if you played Mortal Kombat with me. That would be the best. And I always have to go, it would be even better if I could just see the look of enjoyment on your face while you're playing. Is that flying? Apparently it is. They're like, oh, great, I'll do that. that? Yeah, because I can't watch if I'm playing. You don't want to see me play. Pretty bad. Pretty sad. Anyway, get back to the whole thing. So now, Paul Ferris. I ran into him about 7 or 8 years ago at a wedding. And so we're at the bar, we're having a couple of drinks, and we're talking, and finally I said, I gotta know. That last game, Midnight Marauders, man. What happened? I thought I was saving my job. Oh, you gotta remember, this is 30 odd years after the fact. We're having this conversation, right? So I'm still kind of bummed about it. I thought I was saving my job. I busted my ass on that gig. I thought for sure that was gonna, my spot was solid. And he just started laughing. He goes, oh my God, that is so not what happened. Not even close. Oh? Yeah, what happened was, I gave you that game, and about 5 minutes later they came down and said, yeah, we had to lose some art guys, how about that tall one? And he goes, no effing way. I just gave him a game. He's not walking out that door until he finishes it. Oh. So that's how that went down. Well, thanks for clearing that up. That's awesome. You put the 38 years of angst on the shelf. So we had a good laugh about that. That was pretty funny. But it just goes to show how you can, work yourself into a frenzy over nothing. Just plain old nothing. And here's something I learned from ceramics. You put a glaze on a pot, you have an idea what it's going to look like. Don't fall in love with that. Because when it comes out of the kiln, it'll be something completely different. And I've pulled things out of the kiln so many times, I had to sit on the table and go, and somebody will come along and go, oh, how did you get that glaze? That's amazing. How did, and you're like, well, I thought it was sucky. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you're looking at it through your sucky glazed eyes. Quit anticipating what things are going to be and how they're going to work out. So I learned a life lesson from ceramics. Just do what you're going to do, and whatever happens, and just go with the flow and work around that. And boy, that's worked out well for me. Ceramics taught me a lot. So okay, so let's go back to the days of Bally Midway. So now, got the job, and when I first started there, they didn't really have a place for us, and they had serious growing pains. They were in the middle of building this huge white, marble, black glass, brushed aluminum looking cool, 4-story hip building. And at that point, we were occupying what used to be a 1952 factory. With all the charm that those words bring to the. So I remember my first desk. I was working with Larry Daybeck. They put us in the gallery, but it was also the testing room where all the engineers put they built these little machines that would press buttons a million times. So it was like, that's one of them. This one over here is doing a switch with endlessly. All effing day. It was mind-numbing. And I'm not just two, there were 30 of these things. And then we had all the arcade machines, and everybody's coming in there, and everybody played them 24/7. Well, the gallery was constantly, there were always somebody in there. If you actually came in and said, does anybody actually work in this place? Because you're all playing games, Yeah, it was that. And the funny thing about that was, I remember Zaxxon showing up, the competition, the enemy's game, I think 2 weeks before it was released. How did that happen, kids? So there was a lot of weird stuff that happened there that was kind of unexplained. Maybe you've all heard that Bally had some mob connections. Yeah, they did. Holy crap. Okay, this is pre-Sopranos, but you'd never know it by the cat that showed up. Okay, so we were told somebody was coming out from Vegas to do a little walk around, you know? We had a guy show up, made man, had to be, just right off the set of Sopranos. Oh my God. Limo pulls up. You know, the airport was like 5 minutes away. That's right, he had to take a limo from the 5 minute ride. So this guy gets out, you know, got the bulge. Now check your weapons at the door there, bud, you know. Unbelievable, just like stereotypical, right out of Central Casting, this cat, you know. So we were all like, well, if there was any question about the mob tie. Yeah, pretty weird. Okay, some other weird stuff that happened there. Oh, this is great. One day, I'm working at my desk, and my desk was close to the door, so anybody that came and went in the art department, I knew about it, or I saw it. So there was like a little hallway right by the door. So all of a sudden the door opens up, and this woman's like 5 foot nothing, in this smart little business suit, and she flashes a customs badge and says, "Everybody push away from your desk. It's a U.S. Customs." In the art department? What? I don't even have a funny line to come up with why they would have been there. I have no idea. Well, you know, so, well, push away from our desk. And they came around, and, well, I found out later what this was about. This is right out of a B movie. This is unbelievable. Turns out they were there investigating military intelligence that had been piggybacked onto the hard drives of games that they bought overseas, and they smuggled in military secrets on the hard drive of the games, and that actually happened. What the? What a crazy place! That was nuts. That was just nuts. And you know, when we heard what they were looking for, we were all like, and they're like, well, they found them. What? They really, what? Yeah, that was, hello, where are we going? What's going on down there? Oh. Yeah, you keep that up. All right. So the everyday life of well, we go back to the crazy noise rackety place. We finally got out of there when they built the building, and the joke was it was the house that Pac built. You know, and little did we know that the house that Jack built that didn't work out so well for him, and didn't work out so well for Bally either. Because in like short, well, at that point it would have been about a year and a half is when the big crash happened. You know, so now they had this big building and a bunch of overpriced executives who were basically idiots that poured into a suit. I have no love for any administration of anything, anywhere, ever, because I've just come across so much stupid on my 40 years of freelancing. The stupid is just neck deep. I mean, when it comes to, here, I'll tell you, why Mortal Kombat was a success was this. They thought it was going to be a flop. It did, absolutely. When they brought me on because I was a freelancer, they did not want to busy up one of the staff artists. So they had Greg Ferris, who was my boss at Bally from '82 to '84. He was my immediate boss, and then we all answered to Paul Ferris. And by the way, even though their names are pronounced the same, completely different spelling, no relation whatsoever. Which was kind of weird. Paul Ferris, Greg Ferris. One was F-A-R-I-S, and the other one was F-R-E-R-R-E. Whatever. But anyway, Greg called me up and he goes, "Hey, dude, you're like the fastest wrist in the West. You know, at this point I'd been freelancing about 8 years. And actually, my real money I made at the ad agencies on Michigan Avenue. That's where I really, I made a ton of money there. And that's also where I found out how badly I was getting screwed over in Bally.
Yeah.
Well, they laid me off, and I was out of work for about a whole 2 days. And I had a buddy at Lee Hill ad agency in Chicago, and April's when they start all the Christmas stuff and all the ad agencies. So I was showing up at the perfect time. They could not have timed it better. They did me the biggest favor ever by letting me go on that particular date. I showed up at the ad agencies, and they needed a quick wrist, and I was the quickest one around, man. And I made a ton of money. In that first week freelancing, I made about triple what I would have made working at Bally, and I went, those SOBs. The gaming industry is notoriously cheap. To this day, they're notoriously cheap. So, oh, come on, Glenn, I'm funnier than that.
We'll try to win a tournament.
A likely story. You said that last night. Yeah, maybe it's true, actually. Good luck, bud. Oh, question.
What's the first game you worked on when you got the Bally?
Tron.
Awesome.
I'll get to that in a second. So, but I want to finish my little Mortal Kombat diatribe here. Okay, so now you probably know Jean-Claude Van Damme was supposed to be Johnny Cage. He wanted too much money, and they were cheap asses, so they're never going to come together on that. It was never going to happen. So management, you know, remember the idiots that poured into a suit? Yeah, those guys. Yeah, management had it hardwired into their heads that without Jean-Claude Van Damme, it's going to be a big old flopola. So let's just blow it the hell out of here, get it done, hire a freelancer, we don't care, just make it happen. So when I showed up, well, first of all, Boone had a total attitude, and I didn't know. I mean, apparently he had somebody picked out that he wanted to do the artwork on the staff, and now that was being pulled out from under him, and I'm being shoved on him. So, and he, you know, he did not make it. It wasn't like a secret. Yeah, it was pretty obvious that he could have not had me there, and he would have been just as happy. And that's how we started. So it didn't go well. But luckily I didn't have to deal with him. Like it was just that initial meeting, it was an hour and a half of you know, well, you got to remember, I came in midstream. The game was like about halfway being developed at that point. They were still calling it Dragon Attack. And in that very first meeting is when they changed the name to Mortal Kombat. So I'm there for like an hour and a half, writing furiously, all these notes, you know, because I'm playing catch up. So we get to the end, and I'm packing it all in, you know, and all of a sudden Ed goes, oh, I almost forgot, we're changing the name to Mortal Kombat. You could have led with that. You wait until the end. So now I'm going, okay, all right, I get the notes out, you know, and there's a piece of, you know, one of John Tobias's layouts, you know. So I go write, and my pen's dead. So you grab a green marker, Mortal Kombat, you know, with a C, right? And Ed looks over his shoulder, with a K! Like you moron! Thanks, Ed. Unbelievable. A big K, okay, I get it, I'm out of here, really. So anyway, I had like 3 weeks. I was there 3 weeks to do the artwork on Mortal Kombat. All right, 2 days later, I get a call from Incredible Technologies. And they're like, hey, Paul. Incredible Technologies was a company started by the former programmers at Bally. So we knew those guys. They were up on the 3rd floor. You know? So they called me up. Hey, we're putting together a game to go against. Got one over at Midway called Dragon Attack. Me, Mortal Kombat. I mean, yeah, Dragon Attack, right? Good, perfect. Never heard of it. Don't know what you're talking about. So I went and picked up that one because, you know, freelancer, you don't know the word no. Nope. So I went and picked that up, and I literally had Dragon Attack. I had Mortal Kombat on one table, and I had Time Killers on the other. And I kept that secret for about 17 years. I never told anybody. Now, it's not like I was violating my NDA with Midway because the idiots forgot to get one. The closest they got was Greg mentioned it in that first meeting. Hey, Paul, you don't need to get an NDA for it. Yeah, you probably do. Not my problem. And it wasn't, and I wasn't bringing it up again, and they never did. And you know, here's the thing: I picked up the artwork, and I went to my home, and where my studio was, and I made it. And I never showed up again until I delivered it. Well, I take that back. I had a 5-minute meeting with Jack Hager walking through the hallway, where I was going, okay, Jack, give me this, okay, we're walking. He's going to do that. Okay, I'll make that a little thicker, do this, and more. Okay, that's okay. That was our meeting. So that was the only time I had any meeting about any artwork. Nobody gave a damn what their artwork looked like. Nobody did. Nobody. All they care about is it done yet? When will it be done? How soon before it's done? Quite honestly, I believe that was the reason for the success of Mortal Kombat was because the idiots upstairs in the suits did not come down and stick their nose in it. And you know what, Disney did it right. They're very, very smart. When he made Disneyland in Anaheim, he literally had the footprint layout in front of him, and he measured where were the two farthest distances at the park. What was the farthest distance from each other? And he made the offices of the suits over here, and the art studios over here, as far apart from each other as they could possibly get, for a reason. You know, you had to have a really good reason to hoof it over to, you know, make somebody's life miserable over there, or vice versa. Usually didn't happen vice versa, it's usually this way, you know. And that was brilliant. They got stuff done. Okay, so now, this is what happened with Mortal Kombat. And they put this crazy deadline. It had to be blown out of there. They only had 3 months to do it. We already pissed away 2. So, you know, bing, 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 let's go. All right. So, here, just to give you an idea, they only made 200 games. All right? So that is a clear message to everybody working on the game. Management has no faith in this project whatsoever. I'm guessing 200 was a break even. You know? All right. So, game comes out. Not the flopola they were looking at. Hardly. So now, they got a whole new problem. And that problem was me. Because this guy made the most valuable piece of artwork the company has ever had. He doesn't seem to work here, or ever did. And as a freelancer, he has rights to it, unlike somebody who actually worked here. If he sneezed, we owned it, but he doesn't work here. So we got a whole new problem. Who's going to go upstairs and tell the idiots poured into the suits that we hired a freelancer who may actually own, you know, the actual, you know, rights to some of this artwork? So Ed decided that he would threaten me with a lawsuit and make me go away, and it worked. When I called up to find out where my money was in December, I got Ed on the phone, and I started out by saying, hey, Ed, this is amazing. Boy, they were so wrong, huh? That game really killed it, didn't it? So proud of him, part of the team. And he cuts me off and goes, you weren't part of the team. Okay. What makes you think you're part of the team? You're just a hired gun. Okay. And he said, well, I'll tell you what, I just want to remind you that in your NDA, the one that they never got. Yeah, he's using that as his reference. So I'm going, oh, here comes a lie. Let's hear what you got. You can't reference Mortal Kombat or associate yourself with it for the next 2 years, or we'll sue you into the Stone Age. Those are his exact words. Wow. So, actually, I walked away from Mortal Kombat at that point. I did not get paid. I never pursued it. It was like $2,800. At the time, I was making like $2,800 a week at the ad agency. And they were more than happy to pay it. They'd throw money at you, they didn't care. That was the best place to work. The ad agencies were amazing. You had to work late. Well, why dinner? Want sushi? What do you want? We go with anything. We got a beer, we got a whole refrigerator full of beer. That's what we do. We go right on ahead, you know. Shoot heroin, we'll buy the heroin. I mean, just about. The ad agencies, they'd do anything. They didn't care what you did there. Literally, I mean, we got caught smoking a joint once. They were like, no problem, that's okay, guys, everything's going wrong with the project, right? Oh yeah, smoothly. All right, no problem. You need another joint? I got one. Yeah, they didn't care. And the game companies were the opposite. They're just cheap and degrading. There was never a pat on the head or an attaboy or way to go or this is going to be great or a sense of team. I mean, we had a sense of team because we all worked together and we formed our own sense of team. But there was no corporate sense of team. There was no, feeling like we're doing it for the company and we're going to screw the company. They're screwing us. My pay was $19,500. Even at 82, that just sucked. It's horrible. So my first week when I made that, triple what I was making, and then I'm making all this money at the ad agencies, $2,800 a week in 1992 money. All right, it totally financed my totally frivolous 12-year-long international ski bum lifestyle. I have skied all over the world because of that, because of the ad agencies. They paid for it. I remember what happened at the end of the game. I have great admiration for all my compatriots in the business who have done only games. I don't know how they did it. I really don't. I have nothing but admiration for them because, God, man, it's tough. It was tough. I don't know how. Looks like I'm pretty much almost out of time here. We got 2 minutes left. Wow, I got about 20 other stories I wanted to tell. All right. I was going to Tron, right? yeah, okay, quickly. I worked there 2 days and the honeymoon was over. And Paul came to me and he goes, hey, you're going to be working with Doug Watson, our God, who, by the way, I've become very, very close friends with. We still, I just talked to him the other day. I went out and he lives in San Francisco. He's a retired art professor out there. So anyway, we've stayed friends all these years and just forged really great friendships with everybody. So anyway, back to Tron. So Doug Watson and I were working on Tron, and I had to do all the color separations. I'd never done a color separation in my life. Okay, and of course, it was you know what you're doing on this? Of course. Oh, we were such liars. We were horrible liars. Anytime so many times. One time I remember, I started a whole new career on one sentence. The art director called me up and said, hey, could you come down and do some event rendering? Sure, when do you need me? 9 o'clock? I'll be there, no problem. Okay, what is event rendering? No, it doesn't seem to be right either. I guess I'll find out when I get there. And that's really how I did. I ended up, that became a career for me. I ended up designing huge events for all kinds of corporations, Coke, Burger King. Actually, we won this crazy, we were doing this soccer promotion in South America. And I remember we went out at lunch and got stoned, came back, and on the way up the elevator, we're going, you know what would be really stupid? We made like a human foosball table, right? It'd be tied to the things, and it would be like, but the characters would be actually humans. We're laughing. So that's what we did, and it won a bunch of awards. Thank you, marijuana. So anyway, back to Tron. I never cut a step in my life, but I was very observant, just watching everybody, seeing how they're doing it. It was all Ruby Lith, it was this crazy. I don't know if you know what Ruby Lith is. Probably not. Why would you? It doesn't exist anymore. The big sheets of this red transparent film, and you would cut out whatever you wanted to show up would be red, and whatever you didn't want to show up, you'd pull off. And the camera sees red is black. So, and since it's transparent, you put it in the light tables, and you can see through all the layers. And quite honestly, it's the basic concept of what Photoshop was. You know, you're making layers of color, and that's what we were doing. We were doing it by hand. So when Photoshop was invented, and we sat down on a computer to look, we're like, oh, I know this already. This is awesome. So yeah, so I cut the steps, and I was very eager, you know, to do good. I wanted more, wanted bigger, and got done with it. And I remember Paul Ferris coming over and going, "Wow, that's amazing. You know, this is probably one of the hardest color separations anybody could have ever cut." Oh, I'm glad I didn't know that before I started. Holy, really? And I killed it? Oh, thanks. But yeah, that was my kind of my beginning was cutting the color steps for Tron. Oh, a great thing, the environmental cabinet. If anybody's ever seen the environmental cabinet, that's kind of a unicorn too. But it's everybody that worked on Tron was tall. I'm 6'4". George Gomez is 6'1", I think. And Doug Watson is 6 foot. So we all had like a permanent dent right here on the side of our heads from trying to duck down and hit that damn cabin. And because of it, there was a foam strip that they put on post-production. Because of us. Because of us. All right, well, that's a good finish. I got any questions real quick? What do we got? No, we don't have questions. That's good. I just make up a lie anyways. Thank you all for coming. Bless you all. You know, really, if it hadn't been for you guys, none of this would be anything. It really wouldn't be. And I know that. I was in the right place at the right time. I was just a very, very lucky individual to have this. And now to be here talking to you, I'm so blessed. I can't even begin to tell you how good this feels to be here. And I'm so appreciative to all of you for being fans, because like games like Mortal Kombat, it'd just be a lot of nice dragon artwork without you guys. So thank you so much. Bless you all. Have a great day. I love you.
Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and to the right are a few more videos from the Portland Retro Gaming Expo 2023. Thanks for watching.